The 3-2 Los Angeles Rams heading east, taking on the 1-4 Baltimore Ravens. This game kicks off at 10 a.m. on Fox. Kevin Burkhardt and Tom Brady will be on the call. Aaron Andrews, Tom Rinaldi on the sideline. On your screen right now is a distribution map. Rams and Ravens will be in the red zones for this one. You would think with the game with Kevin Burkhardt and Tom Brady, it would get a little bit larger of an area. Not the case for this one, so... obviously, there are many other ways to watch games. I sit in that little CS on the Colorado portion of the map. That's where I live. And very rarely do we get Rams games out here. So I just go out. I prefer to go out, personally, to the bar and stuff like that. I just like to make game day a whole event. You know what I mean? It's just more fun that way. Speaking of making game day an event, I just want to talk about this sweet Avs shirt that I'm rocking right now that you can see. Because for two reasons, mainly because I was wildly stoked, already a couple beers in, having an incredible time watching the Rams, you know, as you do. And then I see all of my favorite players wearing Rams jerseys, and they don't even play football. That's the best part, man. Seeing the Colorado Avalanche all rocking their stuff out there. Rams are my number one team in the whole universe. Number one favorite team in any sport. Love them. Next, though, and there is a gap. I mean, I don't have like an Avs tattoo or anything like that. But Colorado Avalanche, second place. It's Rams one, then like Avs like kind of somewhere over here. Everybody else is like way down here, like Rockies and all that stuff. Everybody else is way down here. Texas A&M, way down there, dude. Rams and Avs though, number one, number two. Absolutely loved that with my whole heart. And then of course, season opener. Avs at Kings. Avs pulling out the sick dub 4-1. Absolutely love to see that. Anyway, you bettors out there, Rams are minus 7.5 right now, minus 370 on the money line, and 44.5 for your over under. Let's get into the pants picks here as Rams are going to be rocking the bone jerseys for this one. The reason, by the way, I've got the Morgan Fox jersey is first of all we're in bone, so got to have a bone jersey up there. And Morgan Fox, Colorado boy. He did play his football at CSU Pueblo. My cousin does not play for CSU Pueblo. He plays for Fort Lewis, but we'll be playing at CSU Pueblo on Saturday. So we're going to go down to that game and check it out. So shout out Morgan Fox, former CSU Pueblo alum. And that's where I'll be watching some football this weekend. So heck yeah, shout out, dude. But bone jersey for this week. And our pants picks are in the game that is sweeping the nation. What color pants are we going to wear? Well, I am the Lone Ranger here, going with Soul, as everybody else going with the Royal jerseys, or the pants, I mean. Rams have not worn Royal pants yet this season, so this would be a first. But with the bone jersey, we see bone pants quite often. My personal favorites combination is bone on sole. Maybe that's why I'm picking it. Maybe I'm just trying to shoot that into the universe somehow. Everybody else, though, going with the bone on Royal. First time we ever saw that matchup, or that uniform matchup, would have been the 2020 playoffs. That sounds right. At Seattle and at Green Bay. That was the first time we saw those uniform combos. But hey, sweet combo if it happens to be that way, man. Baltimore Ravens have worn all purple in their last 3 matchups with the Rams. The first of those 3, the Rams were in the color rush. Then the Ravens were in their color rush as well. It's like a purple with like the more gold accents to it. But then the last 2 have been just their standard gold, purple on purple. But that last one, the first of those 3, that was that big Monday Night Football loss, the color rush, man. It was such a bummer of a game. Actually, I have the game pin right here. Thanks, Mark. Dude, you're the man. I was just sitting right. That's so funny. Anyway, we got to get rid of this, actually. God, that's bad luck. That's going upside down. All right. And then the Ravens have only ever actually seen true Royal jerseys in a game. That was Week 1, 1999. Of all the times that the Rams have played the Baltimore Ravens, only one time have they seen the Royal. They have seen the darker blues during the St. Louis years, but only one time, the Royals, Week 1, 1999. And the last time these teams played, the Rams were wearing white on Royal. And, not bone for this one. Bone before that, though. All bone. All bone versus all purple before that. Matchup history. This is the 10th all-time meeting between these two teams. The Ravens lead the all-time series 6-3. The Rams lost last meeting in an absolute heartbreaker. That was a punt return for a touchdown in overtime in 23. That was a 37-31 win for the Baltimore Ravens. The Rams did defeat the Ravens in 2022, 20-19. One heck of a football game. Before that, the Ravens won 4 straight, and this will be the 4th ever Baltimore Ravens game versus the Los Angeles Rams. As Ravens starting in 1996, Rams were in St. Louis at that time. First ever meeting between these two came on October 27th, 1996, the Ravens' first year since they are not the Browns. The Rams won that game 37-31. I thought we lost that game. Maybe I'm wrong. But the Rams have never held the Ravens to single digits in any of those 9 games. The Rams have scored single digits on 3 separate occasions. There's a lot of stuff we're looking for in this game, obviously. But first and foremost, I kind of want to mention this. That Ravens fans, the fan base itself, they're kind of going through something that sits a little close to Rams fans right now. As Baltimore Ravens, they are mourning the loss of superfan Captain Defense. And obviously, we have the recent passing of the 2024 Fan of the Year, Sal Martinez. Absolutely incredible human being. So I think that from the Rams fans' perspective, we can at least offer our condolences in that regard. Super fans, losing them is never fun, man. Losing anybody is never fun. But I mean, obviously, it brings a little bit more passion to it when you have such a passionate event, which is watching football and stuff like that. And we've become such good friends with these people over our time watching games. And I don't know, it's just one of those things, man. And just another reminder, too, that we are just fans, man. Like, we can have respect for the other fan base. Ram Man said it best, hate the team, not the fan. I'm not here to be a hater on you as a fan. If you're a Ravens fan watching me, dude, all the love in the world, man. Welcome. Let's pull up a chair, man. You got room here, man. So that's just one of those things that it just kind of pulls it back a little bit. We're just fans, man. We're just out here to have a good time, stuff like that. We don't control anything. We can cheer, we can lose our minds, all that stuff. But ultimately, whatever happens on the field has fairly little to do with us. You know what I mean? So just shooting some love out to the Baltimore Ravens fan base, Captain Defense, man. Just rooting still, man. Rooting still. Absolutely going to be watching this game. Probably be watching with Sal, dude. They're going to be having a blast out there. So heck yeah, man. Love to see it. Rams do begin their 2-game road trip that includes a bye, and they're going to be leaving Baltimore to London to take on the Jacksonville Jaguars, then a bye week. And it's going to be a full month between SoFi stops. That last game being on the 2nd for the Niners game, and then exactly 1 month later on November 2nd is when the Rams return to take on the New Orleans Saints. So a bit of a gap there. Like I said, Rams leaving Baltimore to London, take on the currently 4-1 Jacksonville Jaguars, which is absolutely crazy to me. And then the Rams, like I said, head back home for a game with the Saints, and then back-to-back division games, which is going to be huge. All right, absolutely massive. That little stretch there to take on Ravens, who, in fairness, are struggling. They're still a really good team, a really well-coached team, and have playmakers for sure still. So definitely no one to take lightly. But then you got the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are starting real hot. That was my number one team of, like, this team's going to turn it around. And a big part of that's coaching and all that stuff. And we'll get into that full game preview, of course, next week. But then you get the bye week. You get to come back home. You get to take on the Saints, who are probably going to be picking number 1 overall, something like that. They're at least going to be in that conversation. And then you get the real action. Then it's kind of all systems go after that. So that's kind of what I'm looking for the Rams to come back. You get that game against the Saints to kind of just clear your stuff, get back into the rhythm post-bye week, but then you got to go. You got to get rolling, man. So that's what we're looking at for a little bit of perspective, a little bit of a zoom out for you. But obviously, first and foremost, taking on the Baltimore Ravens, who, in fairness, they're starting 1-4. Kind of got Rams 2024 vibes to me, man. I don't think that the Ravens are this bad. This is one of those things where injured, they're so injured right now. They're barely playing anybody. This is what the Rams dealt with last year at the beginning of the season. And they're going to get healthy and then good, right? I mean, that's going to happen at some point. It's still really early, so I'm not sure if that's necessarily, if it's time to start the turn, but they're still favored to win their division. You know what I mean? Like, they're still, that's crazy. They're 1-4, and everybody's like, yeah, they'll be fine. They're just beat up. You know what I mean? And in fairness, too, when you go from Lamar Jackson to anybody, it's a drop. You know what I mean? Like anybody who's available, obviously there's quarterbacks in the NFL that could, but you don't want those guys as your backup. They probably can start somewhere, so they probably don't want to be backup either. But it's going to happen at some point. The Ravens are going to get healthy. They're going to start to turn it around. They're going to make the playoffs. I feel very confident in saying that. I feel like the Rams are getting lucky in a sense of the timing that we're getting the Baltimore Ravens, considering how beat up they are, and we just really need a good win, especially after that game against the San Francisco 49ers. But the Ravens fan base seems to be waiting for the return of Jackson more than anything. That's based on what I'm seeing on social media. Makes sense as well. Lamar Jackson obviously being one of the premier players in the NFL. Obviously, you would want him back. Also in Ravens news, by the way, making a trade with the Chargers this week. So they have traded Odafe away, the linebacker, to the Chargers, and in return, they received a safety, Alohi Gilman. And Gilman coming over, I mean, the Ravens have needed secondary help. I'm not sure how much Gilman will help this early, but that is certainly something that they are going to be looking for. We'll get into the numbers here shortly. Not doing great as far as the defensive side of the football goes for the Baltimore Ravens. Making a move there. Linebacker for a safety. There's something there. They're trying to make some moves. Owe was injured last week, so I'm not even sure if he's going to be available. We'll see what Gilman can do for the Baltimore Ravens. Excuse me, for their defense. From former Rams who are chilling on the Baltimore Ravens roster, just the two that I could note, which was offensive tackle Joseph Noteboom, and then linebacker Jake Hummel. Two names that we are pretty familiar with, considering how many games they were part of the Rams roster for. You know what I mean? So let's take a look at the matchup here. We're going to go ahead and start with the Rams offense going against that Baltimore Ravens defense. Rams offense right now putting up almost 413 a game. That is second in the league. Baltimore Ravens defense, though, giving up almost 417. That is 31st in the NFL. Only one team worse. Passing the football, Rams rank second, putting up almost 290 a game here. And this is where the Ravens are really struggling against the pass, giving up 262.4, 31st again in the NFL. Rushing the football, Rams are 21st in the league, putting up about 112 a game, and the Ravens giving up 146.5. That is 29th in the NFL. Average points being put up. Rams sitting pretty middle of the road here, 24.6 points a game. That's tied for 15th. And the Ravens giving up 35.4 on average. Wild number there. That is 32nd in the NFL by a gap. And third down conversion, Rams tied actually with the Ravens at 40.4, tied for 13th. Ravens defense giving up 44.6. That is 27th in the NFL. Also, some other notes for you. The Rams are first in yards per play at 6.4, and they are fifth right now in first downs. So certainly getting it done on the offensive side. Just want a little bit more consistency there and a little less drives where nothing happens. Yes, is the way to put that. But either way, man, looking really, really good on offense. And it still does not feel like it's fully clicked. And will it? I mean, you only have so many games before you're like, it's probably not going to happen. But it's also, I kind of take everything bye week and before. That's our preseason. That's where we're trying to figure out who we are, where our identity is, what we want to be this year. And then when you come back after the bye week against the Saints, that's when you can get rolling. But either way, you're still looking for that identity. You're still looking for your run game to fully, get rolling. Your secondary to really gel and start making their plays and stuff. We're getting those picks in little gaps here. Turnovers tend to be a bunches kind of thing, and we're not seeing that yet. So that can absolutely happen at any time. But either way, looking at the Ravens defense, some players you're going to keep your eye on. I'm going to start with rookie linebacker, dude, Teddy Buchanan. He's an absolute rocket out here, man. Teddy Buchanan is playing some really, really good football. He does lead the Ravens in combined tackles with 40 in just 4 starts. Has played in all 5 games, but just the 4 starts. He has only 1 tackle for loss on the season, but has definitely made an impact on this defense. Teddy Buchanan, certainly somebody to keep your eyes out for. And next up, we're going to go with safety Malachi Starks, one of 2 Ravens defenders to start all 5 games. Yeah, only one of 2 Ravens to start all 5 games on defense. Wild, man. They are absolutely beat up and having a hard time when it comes to that. But Starks is a really solid safety, gets plenty of tackles, 34 total, so he's all over the place. No picks, passes defended quite yet, but Starks is a really solid defensive back and absolutely could be, put in a spot to disrupt some Matthew Stafford action if the cards fall that way. Next up, we'll go with cornerback Nate Wiggins. One of 2 turnovers for the Baltimore Ravens. It was an interception going to Wiggins, only pick for the Ravens on the season. That secondary, that whole defense as a whole, realistically, worst start of their lives. Start of their lives, man. He's part of a secondary that's shown the ability to get picked on. So Nate Wiggins, absolutely. I mean, everybody's got a difficult task when you take on the Rams wide receivers, but Nate Wiggins, man, definitely has a tall task in front of him, but has talent as well. You know what I mean? Like Humphreys has been hurt, so Wiggins is kind of being called on a lot, and in fairness, kind of getting picked on. We'll see if it happens again this week, and see how he's going to respond to that. The Ravens are certainly a team that can, at any moment, kind of just turn it on, like especially on defense, historically speaking, and they have really good players. Let's not, mess around with it. If they can get some health back, they have some really, really talented players and can absolutely ruin your day, man. So something like a turnover, a timely pick 6, even like a well-timed big hit on like a 3rd down that stops the drive or something like that, anything can trigger it, and then they're off and running. You know what I mean? So it can be something quick, and then all of a sudden their defense is on fire. Will it happen this week? Who's to say? Best one-on-one that I've got for the Rams offense going against the Ravens defense, I'm going to go Kyren Williams versus Roquan Smith. Big fan of Roquan Smith, former Georgia Bulldog. Absolutely incredible player. Smith leads the Ravens in tackles for loss, while Kyren Williams does remain the Rams' top rushing threat, coming off of what was really a really, really, really good game. And then just a few really bad plays in there for Kyren. He's the kind of player, though, that he could have a big day just out of pure frustration. You could tell how much that fumble bothered him. And as much as we hate to see that, especially the timing, it does feel like the bulk of Kyren Williams' fumbles are at the time where it's like that's the last thing that you can afford to have is a fumble. But I think that the way Kyren Williams is kind of, first of all, he's done a better job this year. I think another fumble was credited to him, but it was kind of a misstep on the handoff. But Kyren Williams has certainly done a better job of holding the football. And I'm just not here to say that, we need to get rid of him or anything. He also got punched in the face. All right. I don't know if you can do that. I don't know if that's a rule. I'm sure you can call it incidental, but he got punched right in the dome and then fumbled the football. I mean, things happen, man. But either way, Kyren Williams and Smith are going to meet a few times on Sunday. This battle will probably go both ways, but ultimately, I think the timing of it will be critical, and that's just it. Timing. Is Kyren Williams going to have a fumble in a situation where that's the last thing on earth you can afford? Or is there going to be like a Roquan Smith missed tackle on a 4th and 2 when that's the last thing in the world that they could afford? You know what I mean? I think timing is going to be everything. Smith is going to win some. Williams is going to win some. When those wins happen is going to be very important. 3 to C for the Rams on the offensive side. We're going to start with wide receiver Puka Nacua. You pencil him in here almost every time, okay? He's playing absolutely out of his mind. Obviously, Puka Nacua is on this list. Puka Nacua on record-breaking pace. Record watch begins post-bye, by the way. We will start our record watch segment. That will be happening. Who knows? We'll see. But Nacua, he's become such a massive part of this Rams offense. And the good news is that it's very realistic that other weapons also take off at some point. It doesn't feel like the Rams are, obviously Puka Nacua is getting the bulk of everything right now, but it doesn't feel like Puka Nacua, if he were to go out, then it's like, well, the Rams are dead. It feels like we have so many other weapons where it's like, well, who steps up then? Like where do these targets go kind of thing. And it feels like we can let that, it would settle if it needed to. Good news right now, Puka Nacua is healthy. He's good to go, and he's rolling, man. So we've gotten a little glimpse, a little appetizer of Devontae Adams, you know what I mean? Just a little taster of potential from Tutu Atwell and what he can bring. And then we saw the waiter walk by with a plate of Terrence Ferguson, and we're like, ooh, that looks good. I want some of that next time. You know what I mean? So we're getting the taste of everything right now. But main course, dude, the go-to, the solid one. You're looking at the menu and you can't decide, so you just fall back on your default, dude. It's Puka Nacua. And no one's mad about that. Shouldn't be, at least, because it's working. I mean, he's on record-breaking pace. But as long as Stafford to Puka works, no reason to stop it. Against a team that's 31st in the NFL against the pass, Nacua could be wearing a jersey this Sunday. Nakua's number 12 bone jersey worn this Sunday in Baltimore could be making its way to the Pro Football Today gallery in Canton, Ohio. Just saying. Just saying. Next up, 3 to C. Running back Kyren Williams. Kyren Williams had an incredible day last week against the Niners. 2 touchdowns, plenty of receptions, helping the Rams move the football. A lot of the story right now is Williams and the fumble, and rightfully so. I'm not going to try to ignore that. That was so unfortunate. Wildly unfortunate. The timing, the way it all happened, hands were going up to high five, dude, and then it was not our football anymore. So yeah, I get it. It was absolutely terrible timing. That's all it was. It was timing. The timing of it. Like, I mean, he was right. He was at the 1. You know what I mean? Like, there's potential for him to get a little bit further, and the ball gets punched out, and it's already a touchdown. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? So it was that close. So I don't think we should just absolutely crush Kyren Williams for any of this. But on the final play, I don't put that one on Williams because it was a bad call. I mean, Sean McVay called that out immediately on the post-game press conference, and he's right. It was a bad call. That's what I kept saying. As soon as it happened, it was like, yo, what? Run up the middle? What are we doing? Like, that's so obviously like if we're going to run, that's a Puka jet sweep. You know what I mean? Like, so obviously. But again, McVay owned it. We can move on from it. It was just a blatant passing situation in my mind. Overall, though, Kyren Williams played really, really, really good football last week against the Niners, and the fumble sucked. Yes, bad. But I'm with Puna Ford, man. We ride with 23 for sure. Next up, tight end Terrence Ferguson. Give me Ferg, man. Ferg gave us a little bit of a glimpse of what he's capable of last week. Rams fans are all over it and asking to see some more action this week from the rookie. See if that comes to fruition here. Ferguson is probably at about the time of the season where he's going to start to get more reps, get it a little bit more out there. It was 1 catch last week, incredible catch. Maybe it's 2 this week. Maybe it's 3 this week. But I feel like this is about that turning point. You know what I mean? That curve is going to start to. We're hitting momentum. You know what I mean? And maybe a touchdown. I don't want to get too ahead of myself here. I'm saying it's possible. All right, it's possible. Overall, Ravens defense just doesn't really have any passion right now, and I think that's really what it comes down to for this defense. The Rams should be able to move the football with what could be ease on Sunday against ultimately a pretty flat defense. All right. Rams didn't really feel like they were in complete rhythm against the Niners, despite Stafford absolutely going nuts, especially later in the second half there. Realistically, the worst defensive start for the Ravens of all time. I don't even think it's close. I think that them being like 31st in the NFL in points, 35 a game, that's absolutely crazy to me, man. So I think that overall the Ravens are going to turn it around at some point. I'm just not sure when. I'm not sure if it's this week. I'm not sure if it's in week 10, 11, 12. It just feels like it's going to happen. But the Rams offense has a chance to take advantage in a big way. And I'm going to go ahead and give this advantage to the Los Angeles Rams. Let's flip over to the other side here. The Rams defense going against the Ravens offense. Ravens offense a little lower on the portion here. 22nd overall, 335 a game. The Rams defense is 14th. So kind of middle of the road there, giving up 332 a game. Passing the football, 22nd ranked passing offense for the Ravens, and the Rams defense 18th against the pass, giving up about 215. Rushing the football, 17th, almost dead center for the Ravens offense, 115 a game, and the Rams defense is 10th against the run, 93.6 a game. Average points being put up a little over 28 for the Ravens, that's 6th in the NFL, and 21.4 given up by the Rams, that's tied for 13th. On third down, 40.4, that's tied with the Rams, tied for 13th, and Rams defense giving up 35.3, that is 8th in the NFL. The Rams have not allowed a run of 20-plus yards this season. They are the only team in the NFL so far to do that. And Rams are tied for first in rushing touchdowns allowed with only 2, and third in yards per rush with just 3.5. So really, really solid there. Some opposing players that we're keeping our eyes on for the Ravens offense. We're going to start with wide receiver Zay Flowers. Even with Cooper Rush in a blowout, still felt like Flowers was at least present in last week's game against the Texans. Certainly a weapon that can hurt any defense, especially after the catch. I think matchup-wise, it makes sense that we could see Durant on Zay Flowers, but I don't think it's going to be a shadow thing. I think it's going to be one of those where they're going to set it up, they're going to want to pick set the matchups themselves kind of thing, and we'll see how that kind of shakes out. But Zay Flowers is absolutely a weapon. Speaking of weapons, running back Derrick Henry Another ridiculous running back for the Rams defense who has answered the call so far, man. It seems like every week we have a really, really awesome running back to play against, and the Rams defense is answering the call. I absolutely love to see it, man. Even in a loss, Rams held CMC to 22 carries for 57 yards. Of course, some passing action in there as well. But Henry only had 33 yards on 15 attempts last week. But again, a weapon who can burn you at any given moment. Rams run D is very much improved this season. But yet another big old test for the Rams on the ground attack here, especially in a game where Omar Spate's likely missing this one. I do believe he's going to be out for this game. And my third on the three to see here is a little bit of a Schrodinger's third pick here. It's both are true until we get the official report whether Lamar Jackson's playing or not. Okay, so just pretend one of these is true. Okay, you don't have to pay attention to both technically, but we don't know yet. All right. Third up on our 3 to see, quarterback Lamar Jackson. All right, Jackson is an absolute game changer, dude. Even a hobbled Jackson is a massive weapon who can pull off some absolutely wild things. Certainly a threat, no matter if he's hurt. All right. Third up on the 3 to see, we're going to go with center, Tyler Linderbaum. Linderbaum has a tall task this week blocking for Cooper Rush or Snoop. We'll see what happens. Or Huntley. Yeah, we'll see what happens. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a backup quarterback for Linderbaum. So, obviously, pressure is on to make sure that he's going to be good to go. Linderbaum, really, really good center, will be responsible for not letting free rushers come at the quarterback, which is something a little bit of a Rams specialty, is getting free rushers against the quarterback. Best one-on-one that I've got for this is going to be Jared Verse versus Ronnie Stanley. Great matchup here. It seems like we got a sick running back and a sick left tackle almost every week. Love to see it, dude. It's a good test. Seems like that brick wall left tackle, Jared Verse has to take him on every single week, man. But it's no different this week. Stanley, he's going to be in charge of slowing down the force that is Jared Verse. And in fairness, Byron Young will certainly get some reps on Stanley as well. But definitely worth it to keep your eyes on the left tackle action out of the Baltimore Ravens this week. And 3 to see for the Rams defensive side here. We're going to go with nose tackle Tuna Ford. Yeah, Tuna has definitely helped stuff the run this season, has certainly helped the Rams improve against the run this season. I know Landman gets a lot of love when it comes to the run stuffing, but Tuna Ford is certainly clogging up some lanes, and we'll need them to do it again against Derrick Henry. He's definitely been quite the dense front of the Rams defense, and his impact is felt on just about every run play, whether that's making the running back go an extra gap over if we're playing that kind of scheme, or just kind of messing up the blocking where people are going to try to duo and go up and then, leave a little too early, and then Puna's in there. We've seen a lot of good stuff from Tuna Ford. Next up, cornerback Kobe Durant. It's hard to explain. I don't know how to put this into words, but something just feels like 14 is going to have a big day this week. I don't know why. I don't know how. I don't know how to answer any questions about it. Just feels like Kobe does awesome this week. Land Shark, man, coming at you, dude. Someone in the cornerback room needs to show up big. I picked a Land Shark. Next up on 3 to see, I'm going to go with Nate Landman. Not just because he's awesome at stuffing the run. I don't want to make this only run, but it feels like we're going against a backup quarterback, so maybe that's the important piece. You know what I mean? But either way, I think that not just because he's so good at stuffing the run, but because he's also going to be dealing with some different help this week, as Omar Spates is banged up right now. So I'd assume that Troy Reeder is going to get the bulk of those reps, but we could absolutely see Sean Brolak getting some reps as well on the defensive side. Landman, though, he's the leader. He's going to be the number one, obviously. No questions there. But Brolak, by the way, if you did not see the Rams revealed this week, it was with Sean Dolak. Straight up tearjerkers, dude. I mean, hearing Sean Dolak's story, it's impossible to watch the Rams revealed with Sean Dolak and not come out of that just really rooting for him, man. I mean, there's just something about this kid. The whole room is undrafted, so it feels like they all kind of fit in with each other and stuff like that, and they're all just here to kind of help each other and make each other better. And I think Sean Dolak is, I don't know, man. I'm feeling good about Sean. And maybe it's because I watched the Rams revealed, and I love the Rams revealed. That's one of my favorite pieces of content that the Rams put out. Behind the grind, it's Rams revealed. I love that show. And I don't know, Sean Dolak being on there, man. There was something about that one where it was like, man, I want him to be great. I want greatness for him. You know what I mean? just hearing his story, and I'm not going to spoil anything. It's not my story to tell. Check out Rams Revealed this week for sure. It's 1,000% worth it. If you've never caught it before, make this one week 1. You know what I mean? It's so good. You'll have a really, really strong appreciation for Sean Dolak, and you will want Sean Dolak to play over Troy Reeder so bad. Probably more than you do right now. I'm not going to, pretend like at least somebody watching this isn't like, Reeder should not be playing. Dolak, we're all in on Dolak, all right? Nate Landman, Sean Brolak, Bromar Spates. If I can add Bro, I'm doing it. But yeah, either way. Dolak could be getting in some defensive reps, man, and that fumble should have been a fumble. I don't care who you ask, man. That was definitely a fumble in my book. I think that the forward progress being called, that was too quick. Dolak should have had a forced fumble this last week. Maybe he gets one this week. We'll see. Overall, though, Ravens heading into their bye after this game, so it does feel like that could help the decision to not play Lamar Jackson if you can get him an extra week of rest in that one. So, but they're just looking for a sign of life, dude. They need it right now. So, Rams defense, they could have looked a lot better last week against a division opponent. So I think that there is some want of some fire in this defense right now for sure. But just don't get beat deep, make the play in front of you. But if it's a backup quarterback, man, how about we see some blitzing, man? It does feel like Shula had a really rough game plan for this one. But also, I don't know what was being talked about in there, man. I wasn't in those meetings and talking about, like, we want to take this away. Maybe they nailed it. And then just San Fran just wasn't doing what we expected them to do. That's absolutely a possibility, man. I'm not sure. But the Rams are against a backup again. I think that pressure should be first and foremost. I think that should be the big push. Is getting pressure on the quarterback, especially if it's going to be somebody like Cooper Rush. Make them hurry, man. Make them make a quick decision. It's what we should have done against Mac Jones and just didn't really do it. But Ravens have found a way to put up points, but without Jackson, they are just certainly a different team. Lamar is a game changer entirely, but when we're looking at the Ravens offense going against the Rams defense, I'd go advantage Rams. It's too much to give any advantage to the Baltimore Ravens, especially on defense. But their offense without Lamar Jackson, that's very difficult. I know Derrick Henry's incredible. I know Zay Flowers is incredible. I know they have really, really good players. But without Lamar Jackson, that's not the same team. You know what I mean? So the advantage goes to the Rams here on both sides of the football. We'll see what happens. If the Rams also can block on field goals, then I also think that we have the advantage there. But until we can prove that we can block on field goals and let Cardi kick the ball, then, it's difficult to say. Cardi, I see a lot of people that are like, oh, we need to get rid of Cardi. Cardi is not the problem. No one is getting those kicks off if no one can block for them. So it doesn't really matter who the kicker is if there is zero time to get the football placed down and then out of there. You know what I mean? So no, it's not Cardi. It's blocking. We need to address that for sure. It's been quite literally a problem. I don't think I remember seeing any field goal team have a string of blocking this bad for this long. I don't know if I've ever seen that. So got to get that figured out. Chase Blackburn, that's on you, dude. Let's figure it out. Let's just get good. And then still early enough to figure it out, man. I mean, you don't lose a Super Bowl in October. You can certainly try to get there though. and start working out these kinks right now, man. So that is it. Game preview. Again, Fox, 10 a.m. LA time for this matchup. Kevin Burkhardt and Tom Brady on the call. Join me ahead of the game as I'll be going live on the Ram Showcase Facebook page and YouTube channel, as we'll just be chatting Rams, heading up as I'm heading out to the bar to catch this game. Full game preview for you on Friday morning. Also, 7 a.m. on the First and Tuna Podcast YouTube channel and Ram Showcase Facebook page, part of the Sheriff and the Tuna Show. Absolutely love doing that one, man. It's an absolute blast. And it's starting to really do stuff. So it's fun, man. It's fun. It's good stuff, man.